Has offered to step down as Canada's Prime Minister. His resignation comes in the wake of repeated taunts by the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump. Within hours of Trudeau's announcement of his resignation, Trump reiterated his proposal to make Canada the 51st state of the United States. Donald Trump has threatened to impose hefty tariffs on Canada, but Trump is just one part of Trudeau's problems. His popularity ratings have continued to dip. The opposition has been mounting pressure. Perhaps the biggest setback for Trudeau was the lack of support from his own Liberal Party. Trump, who has had a rocky relation with Trudeau even during his first time in office, has been promoting the idea of making Canada the 51st state of the United States of America. This ever since he met with Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago after his November 5th electoral win. And since then, Trump has been repeatedly mentioning this on his social media posts several times. On his social media platform, Truth Social, Donald Trump wrote, "Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be." Trump had earlier referred to Trudeau as the governor of Canada. Trump has threatened to impose 25% tariffs on Canadian imports if Toronto is not able to stop the flow of illicit drugs and illegal migrants from its southern border with the United States.
I think it's another grand Trump idea, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's just talk. I don't think it's going to happen.
After Trudeau announced his resignation, this is how Canadians reacted. Ottawa residents were seen celebrating, while others worried about the consequences of his departure for the upcoming elections.
It's time for some new, good, real people to put in office. Okay? We gave you 10 years. You let us down. Step down as Prime Minister and step down as Liberal leader. Thank you. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye, Justin Trudeau.
Je pense qu'il y avait une perte de confiance en général au sein.
I think there was a general loss of confidence within the party, but also within Canadians, within the Canadian population. So I'd say it's a good thing, and it would be a good idea to start again and see how we can improve things for Canadians, but also within the government.
Les Canadiens, mais aussi au sein du gouvernement.
Trump, on the other hand, has confirmed that his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., will travel to Greenland this week. Trump Jr. arrived in Greenland just a few minutes ago. Reports suggest Trump Jr. plans to record video footage for his podcast during the one-day private visit. However, the timing of the visit is raising questions. The announcement comes after Trump rekindled the idea of taking control of the autonomous Danish territory, an idea that has been dismissed by Danish and Greenlandic officials. All right, a lot to discuss, and we are now being joined by Lester Munson, co-head of the international practice at BGR Group, a leading government relations firm in Washington, D.C., and he's also a senior fellow at the National Security Institute. Lester, welcome back to WION. Trudeau has resigned. How much of this is related to President-elect Donald Trump coming back into the White House, and just generally what happened with the President-elect recently in the past few weeks?
Well, I think it is related. Trump appearing and openly mocking Trudeau and Canada generally was, I think, the last straw. And realistically here, Prime Minister Trudeau was already in a very weak position. The economic numbers in Canada are not very good. They have a major housing crisis. He was very unpopular when this started, and the arrival of kind of the re-arrival of President Donald Trump on the scene as a major player and the incoming president of the United States really doubled down all of those issues, I think, for Canadians, particularly those in the Liberal Party who realized that if Trudeau continued to be their leader, they were not going to do well in upcoming elections. So while Trump was relevant, the real root cause here is unpopularity at home among the voting populace in Canada.
And Donald Trump Jr. just landed in Greenland. How do you look at this trip?
Well, I think this is the Greenland issue may be a more serious issue. You know, you were talking earlier about the possibility of Canada becoming an American state. That's not very realistic. It is not implausible that the U.S. play a greater role in the future of Greenland. There's no logical reason why Greenland should be part of Denmark. Greenland's in North America. It plays a huge role in national security issues, particularly with respect to the Arctic, which is increasingly important with climate change, with some other developments, with an increased competition from China. Greenland and its position in North America and with respect to the Arctic is becoming more and more important to U.S. national security interests. So I would take this issue much more seriously than the idea of Canada becoming an American state.
Fascinating. I want to go back to Canada once again. Do you think the Liberal Party and leaders in the Liberal Party have a chance moving forward after Trudeau? And can they change the fortunes of the ruling party, or are we going to see a total change in Canada after Trudeau?
Well, I suspect we're going to see a change. The Liberal Party's been in power for about 10 years. That's a long time in a democracy. The Conservatives with Pierre Poilievre now have a viable alternative. He's been working very hard, as far as I can tell, talking to ordinary Canadians. He's got a effective message about building up the working class and making housing more affordable. So I suspect the Liberal Party is not going to do well in the next round of elections, no matter who they put in place to replace Trudeau.
Very interesting. Lester Munson, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning on WION.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.